And tomorrow there will be a day of blood-pumping gaming action awaiting you. And you are invited to the PlayVS Mississippi Championship matches, which is going to include some of the region's most talented young gamers. And it's all happening in Hattiesburg. And joining us to tell us more is Chloe and Tori. Hey, girls.
Hi, thanks for having us on. We're excited to share more about the championships and the playoffs.
Yeah, I love this, and I love talking about it every time because it's something new and exciting that's coming to not only high schools but universities, and it's opportunities for young kids to take what parents once thought was just time-sucking, activities, which is playing games, and putting it to good use. So how do you guys describe PlayVS, or how do you describe esports when someone asks you, well, what is it?
Sure. So it's pronounced PlayVS, and we consider esports anything that's a digital game that you can get involved with competitively. At the high school level, this focuses on games like Super Smash Bros. Or Rocket League that are fun for different groups but can also be played individually. We have lots of kids across the state that are involved in dozens of different teams, and they'll play against one another, and they also compete in a national championship. Because it's digital, it's very easy to organize these and connect people virtually, and was able to be done through the pandemic as well.
Do you think that really helped kind of spark the interest in getting on the games and making it more official and sort of moving, the speed of the interest in esports forward, or was that already brooming and it wouldn't have really mattered?
It's definitely benefited, but it absolutely had already had a lot of interest beforehand. Setting up these leagues through PlayVS has given schools and kids the opportunity to set aside time and space and computers so that they can all participate and feel involved in extracurriculars where they might not have usually been interested in.
So if a kid comes home and says, hey, Mom, I want to get on one of the leagues for gaming, I mean, what sort of questions do you normally get from parents in terms of, is this good for, their health to sit there and play it all the time? How does the structures of the competition work out? I'm just thinking from a mom's perspective, I would say, little Johnny, this sounds too good to be true. You're pulling my chain here on playing video games for competition.
The biggest concern or question is making sure that it's done in a supervised environment, and that's another great benefit of these leagues through PlayVS is that there's always a supervisor, most likely a teacher, that's familiar with these types of video games, and they also put a limit on how much time that the students are actually engaging in video games. These after-school practices also include sometimes physical warm-ups, conversations with coaches, and making sure that their school and their grades are coming first, and that this is a fun added bonus. So the concern from parents is usually about time, and that's one of the things that coaches focus on a lot.
Oh, I love that. Well, that would also be with, I guess, any sport or recreation. There needs to be a balance in how much time you give that versus the other things in life. So that's pretty cool. Okay, let's talk about the coaches. Where are they coming from? Like, are they within the school system that also just have an interest in the gaming, or are they also gamers themselves who've kind of worked their way, into the competition world, or how does that work?
Most coaches are either part of the teaching faculty or administrative faculty, but also have an interest in gaming themselves. I would say that maybe half and half are gamers in their own right or became interested after they saw how many students were interested. We also have noticed that schools are hiring, both schools and universities are hiring coaches who are experienced with esports because the programs are developing so much and growing at such a rate that they do want to have people that understand it on board.
So let's talk about tomorrow. It's an exciting day for PlayVS and with the Mississippi Championship matches down in Hattiesburg. Why was Hattiesburg selected, or do you always kind of go to the hub city?
It's usually based on availability and other factors like that with the school administrators, but we always want to have it somewhere central so that in the event people want to come and watch, or, the other students at the schools want to come rally around, that it's somewhere easily accessible for as many people as possible.
So how many teams will be there tomorrow?
Off the top of my head, I'm not sure, but I think we have at least 10 different teams from the state participating. It will be kind of a playoff situation, so as the matches go on, it will kind of reduce how many are involved, and then the final championship winner will be announced after the end of the match. This will also be broadcasted on the PlayVS YouTube.
Oh, pretty cool. Okay, so how many gamers is on a team?
The teams range. One of the great things about PlayVS is we have a no-cut kind of policy. as long as the school has the space for the students, as many players as they want can join. So it varies a lot from school to school.
And is this one where it's mixed gendered? You've got girls and boys, or they have set their own separate teams, or can they all just, whoever's the best at like Mario Smash is good?
Yep, it's co-ed, and they base it on whoever's the best at different game titles. So, for example, some students would want to play Super Smash, and some students would rather play Rocket League. There's a really great variety of games through PlayVS, so people have the opportunity to play whatever they're best at.
You mentioned the space for a school to sort of embrace this idea of esports. Would that include, obviously, I guess, the gaming equipment, computers or TVs or something like that for them to be able to practice together on campus? Is that kind of what's required?
Yes, and many schools already have the computer labs and equipment available. Most games are played on PC, but PlayVS also works with schools to do giveaways of the Nintendo Switch so that students can take it home and practice at home.
Pretty cool. All right, tomorrow's a big day. You mentioned that we can at least stream it or watch it if we can't be there to kind of see it for for our own eyes if we've never watched one of these matches. And how do we do that?
On youtube.com/PlayVS.
All righty. Well, good luck to everybody. I appreciate your time. And I don't know who to cheer for, but go team.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
All right. See, there you go. You might as well, if you've got a gamer in your family, let them embrace it. If they're really good at it, instead of fighting against it, then, sort of lean into it, get it a little bit more structured, find out if the school has these teams going on, and make it something positive.